Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. It's Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. And we are definitely connecting some big dots today.
We are indeed. We're looking at how global tech rivalry, a key AI legal ruling, and even Spotify's latest numbers are all kind of intertwined.
Shaping your tech, your wallet, maybe even national security. But first things first, let's get a quick picture of what's happening out there.
All right, so weather-wise, it's actually pretty calm here for us. Haze, then partly sunny later, high around 71. Pretty nice November day.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Nationally, though, it's a different story. There's a pretty potent atmospheric river hitting the northwest. That means heavy rain, potential flooding, high winds, even mountain snow through Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely messy out there. And the northeast isn't totally quiet either, looking at gusty winds, maybe some isolated showers. So, check your local forecast.
Good advice. No, markets, Monday was, well, not great.
No, definitely a down day. The Dow Jones finished off 360.65 points. That's down 0.76%.
And the S&P 500 followed suit, down about 30 points or 0.44%.
Seems like some jitters out there.
Big time. And you really see it with Bitcoin. It dropped over $2,600 just in the day. That's nearly 2.5%. But the weekly number, wow, down almost 8%.
Oof. Nearly 8% in a week. That tells a story, doesn't it?
It really does. Signals some serious investor nervousness, probably linked to some of the geopolitical stuff we're about to get into.
Right. Okay, before we dive into all that from our Morningstar Tech Report, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Old Glory.
Yeah, great folks over there. If you're already thinking about holiday gifts and you've got that person who loves music, sports, fan gear, Old Glory is fantastic. Really iconic stuff.
Perfect for that techie friend who seems to have everything else too. And here's the good part for you. Old Glory is offering our listeners 15% off your whole purchase.
That's right. Just use the promo code SNARFUL, SNARFUL, when you check out.
Find them at oldglory.com.
Okay, so let's connect these dots. All three of our main stories today really revolve around this global battle for tech dominance. Story number one takes us right into the U.S.-China tech conflict.
Yeah, this is a big move. President Trump has brought in a new export ban. This one targets Nvidia's top-tier Blackwell AI chip.
That's right, basically stopping sales to mainland China and other international markets as well.
So why this specific chip? What makes the Blackwell chip such a, critical piece here?
It's all about strategic advantage. The president was pretty blunt, saying only U.S. clients should get these chips because, in his words, they're 10 years ahead of anybody else's.
10 years? That's a bold claim.
It is. And he even called Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang, one of the great geniuses of our time. So the thinking is clearly, keep this potentially game-changing tech out of the hands of strategic rivals, especially for AI and military uses.
And it sounds like some in Congress feel even more strongly.
Oh, definitely. The hardliners are pushing hard. We saw that quote from Republican Congressman John Moolenaar comparing selling this chip to China to giving Iran weapons-grade uranium.
Wow. Okay, so that really frames it as a direct national security threat in their eyes.
Exactly. Not just economic competition, but military power. But here's where it gets, complicated and potentially painful for, regular folks. This ban isn't happening in a vacuum.
You mean retaliation?
Precisely. China's already signaling they might tighten up export controls on critical rare earths, and that hits us right back.
Okay, rare earths. Remind us why those are so critical. We hear about them, but what do they actually do?
They're basically essential ingredients for, almost all modern tech. Think iPhones, Tesla batteries, drone motors, but also really critical military hardware. F-35 fighter jets, Tomahawk missiles, they all need these elements.
And China controls a huge chunk of the supply, right?
The vast majority. Somewhere between, 80, maybe 90% of processing. So if they restrict exports...
What happens? Prices for our gadgets go up.
That's the immediate consumer impact, yeah. Your next phone, your next EV could cost more. But the bigger worry, this sort of national so what, is the defense angle. If U.S. military contractors can't get these rare earths reliably.
It impacts readiness, our ability to build essential defense systems.
Exactly. It goes from being an economic headache to a real national security vulnerability. Suddenly, you're trading access to future AI chips for potential weakness in current defense capabilities.
That's a tough calculation. And this is all happening against the backdrop of those massive tariff threats too, right?
Yep. Remember, President Trump floated adding another 100% tariff on Chinese goods on top of the existing 30%. That threat alone previously tanked the Dow by almost 900 points. So that looming possibility just adds another layer of uncertainty. Markets hate uncertainty.
Although I did see a mention, wasn't there some talk about maybe allowing a less powerful version of the Blackwell chip, a sort of watered down one for China?
Yeah, that possibility was floated. Trump apparently hasn't totally ruled out a less potent iteration for Chinese businesses. But honestly, given the political pressure from Congress right now,
seems unlikely.
It feels like a long shot. The push seems to be for maximum restriction on anything advanced. It's really about controlling the foundational tech for the future, whether that's the chips themselves or the raw materials needed to build everything else.
Okay, so while that's happening on the hardware side, this whole other battle is raging over the software, the IP, the brains behind AI. Let's pivot to story number 2. AI and copyright law. Specifically, this Getty Images versus Stability AI ruling out of London.
Right, and this one is messy. London's High Court handed down a split decision today. Stability AI, the company behind the Stable Diffusion image generator, actually won on the main copyright infringement claim.
They won. But Getty was arguing Stability AI trained its model on millions of their copyrighted images without permission. How did Stability AI win that?
Well, it wasn't because the court said it was okay to use the images. They won on a technicality, basically. A jurisdictional loophole.
A loophole. Explain that. That sounds important.
It is. And potentially infuriating for creators. Getty had to drop that core claim because the actual training of the AI model, the part where it ingested all that data, it didn't happen in the UK.
Wait, so just because they did the heavy data processing somewhere else, UK copyright law couldn't touch them for that specific act?
Exactly. Since the training occurred outside the court's jurisdiction, Stability AI argued they weren't liable under UK law for that infringement. The judge even admitted the ruling was extremely limited in scope because of this.
Huh. So theoretically, an AI company could just set up its training servers in a country with maybe weaker copyright laws, scrape global data, and dodge liability in places like the UK?
That's precisely the concern this ruling raises. It sort of incentivizes offshoring the training process to avoid legal challenges, highlighting that current laws weren't really built for this kind of global, large-scale AI training. It's a massive gap.
But Getty didn't walk away empty-handed, right? They won something.
They did. They got a key win on trademark infringement. The court found Stability AI was liable because its model-generated images that still had the Getty Images watermark clearly visible.
Ah, okay. And who did the court blame for that? The user who typed the prompt or Stability AI itself?
This is crucial. They blame Stability AI, the model provider, not the end user.
That's huge. So the responsibility for the output, even the infringing output like watermarks, falls on the company that built the AI.
That's the precedent this sets in the UK, yes. It puts the onus on AI developers to clean up their model's outputs. And maybe more importantly, the court did establish, as fact, that Getty's copyrighted images were used to train Stable Diffusion without a license.
So even though Getty couldn't win damages for the training in the UK because of jurisdiction, the court basically confirmed their central accusation, that their stuff was taken.
Pretty much. The court acknowledged the infringement happened, even if it couldn't penalize it directly under UK copyright law due to where it happened. The judge essentially said, look, our laws aren't equipped for this. It's time for Parliament to step in.
Passing the baton to lawmakers, huh?
Exactly. The ruling makes it clear new rules are needed for the AI industry. And you can bet Getty will be taking these factual findings from the UK court straight into its bigger lawsuit in the US.
Where they're seeking massive damages, right? Like over $1 billion.
Up to $1.7 billion, yeah. So this UK ruling, even though split, definitely adds fuel to that fire. It validates their core claim factually in a court of law.
Wow. Okay. A fractured legal picture, escalating tech tensions. Let's shift to something maybe a bit more straightforward, possibly even some good news. Spotify's Q3 earnings? Sounds like they did pretty well.
Pretty well is putting it mildly. It was a blowout quarter, honestly. Spotify's Q3 2025 results crushed expectations. Strong growth, soaring profits. It really shows their strategy's paying off.
Okay, give us the headline numbers. How's user growth looking?
Impressive. Monthly active users, or MAUs, jumped 11% year over year. They hit 713 million. That's huge.
713 million active users. And what about paying subscribers?
Also, strong growth there. Premium subscribers reached 281 million. That's up 12% from last year.
And that translated to the bottom line.
Oh, absolutely. The financials were stunning.
Yeah.
Operating income was 582 million, up 43%. And that led to a net profit of 899 million. Just think, this time last year, they had net loss. It's a massive turnaround.
Healthy is an understatement. And the CEO, Daniel Ek, he's stepping aside soon, right?
Yeah, he announced he's moving to executive chairman early next year in Q1 2026. He's handing the CEO reins over to two co-CEOs, Gustav Soderstrom and Christian Nordstrom. He basically said the business is healthy and, the numbers back that up. Seems like a good time for him to make that move.
So what's driving all this momentum? Is it just one region or?
No, it's pretty broad-based. They saw growth across all regions, but particularly strong in Latin America and North America. The other big factor, product innovation. They're just constantly adding new things.
How many new things are we talking?
Get this. They launched 30 new features just in Q3.
30? In 3 months, what kind of features?
All sorts. Things like lossless audio options, new tools for mixing playlists, even an integration with ChatGPT. It's all designed to do one thing, really.
Keep you hooked. Keep you listening longer.
Exactly. Increase engagement, increase the time you spend on the platform. The more time you spend, the more ads you hear if you're on the free tier, and the less likely you are to switch if you're a premium subscriber. It builds loyalty.
Okay, sounds like clear skies for Spotify then. But knowing you, there's probably a little footnote somewhere, a small cloud.
Huh. You know me too well.
Yes. While the big picture is rosy, there are a couple of, let's call them softening trends if you dig into the details, specifically around monetization.
Okay, what's softening?
Well, premium ARPU, that's average revenue per user, actually slipped by 4% compared to last year.
Hold on, ARPU down 4%. So even though they have more paying subscribers, they're making slightly less money from each one, on average. That's right. It often happens when you have aggressive promotional pricing to attract new users, or when a lot of your growth comes from regions where subscription prices are just generally lower.
Gotcha. And you mentioned another softening trend.
Yeah, ad-supported revenue was down 6%. Now, Spotify pointed out it was flat if you adjust for currency fluctuations. They call it constant currency.
Constant currency. Okay, break down that finance jargon for us.
Sure. It just means if exchange rates between, say, the euro and the dollar hadn't changed over the year, their ad revenue would have been flat. But because the dollar might have strengthened, when they convert that foreign ad revenue back into euros, it looks like less.
So in real reported numbers, ad revenue dipped slightly.
Correct. It suggests maybe a little pressure on the ad market side of their business. So big picture, users are flocking in, engagement is up, profits are beaming, but they're maybe sacrificing a tiny bit of revenue per user right now to achieve that massive scale and user lock-in.
Playing the long game. Prioritizing market share and that stickiness factor over maximizing every dollar today. Makes sense.
That seems to be the strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
Global dominance first.
All right. Before we wrap this all up, one more quick thank you to our other sponsor making the show possible today, Scony.
Yes, Scony. If you're a golfer, you need to check them out. They make premium golf shoes, seriously comfortable, really stylish stuff for the course.
Top quality. And great news, same deal as Old Glory. Use our promo code SNARFUL, SNARFUL at checkout, and you'll get 15% off your entire order.
Find them online at scony.com. That's SKONI.com.
Okay, so let's quickly tie this all together. What are the big takeaways from today?
Well, first, we saw that new, very solid fence going up around advanced AI chips, with the U.S. banning exports of Nvidia's best to China. And the immediate reaction, China threatening those critical rare earth minerals, which creates, a genuine strategic risk for the U.S., impacting everything from consumer goods to defense.
Then we looked at the messy legal side of AI. That UK ruling on Getty versus Stability AI really highlighted a major loophole train your AI offshore, potentially avoid copyright claims. It basically kicked the can down the road to lawmakers to fix the rules, but it did establish that Getty's work was used, which helps their US case.
And finally, Spotify. Just booming user growth, massive jump in profits, showing real strength as CEO Daniel Ek prepares to transition. But we did note those slightly softer monetization trends, like ARPU dipping a bit, as they focus hard on global expansion and keeping users engaged with tons of new features.
Covered a lot of interconnected ground there. Hopefully you feel a bit more plugged into how these big tech stories are shaping things.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's that's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.